and we'll dive in. Let me see what Josh said. Yeah, no emojis on Zoom. Okay, so we're going to jump right in. This is our remix, or Josh Codes remix, because last month we just had a scheduling issue. And so some of you guys weren't able to get on when we had to reschedule, and Josh was really nice and gracious and offered to come back again, so that hopefully between the two calls, everybody gets a chance to catch him live. And for those of you guys who don't know, Josh Coates, you've probably been living under a Facebook rock because he's all over Facebook right now. Don't thumbs down. He is a John Maxwell trained mentor, but he calls himself a push coach instead of a life coach or a business coach. And that's exactly what he's going to be talking about, is creating a push life. So I know that I said that topic in our team page and everybody was pumped. I'm going to hand it over, Josh, to you.
There you go. Sorry, I was in the middle of a drink, so I couldn't unmute myself. I was like, awkward pause while I try to put my bottle down. And
it's like when the waiter comes and talks to you literally every time you take a bite of food.
Yes, you just put like a big bite of like steak in your mouth, and he's like, did you need a drink? And you like really want a drink, but you're like, I can't pronounce that beer with a big chunk of steak in my mouth. So anyways, thanks Becca for having me back on. I love Becca. I get the honor and privilege of working with her, mentoring her one-on-one, and love seeing her excitement and seeing her energy and seeing the growth that's happening in your guys' team. And I know so much more is to come. We're just getting started, guys. So thank you to those of you who had plans on hearing me last month, and then I had to change like super last minute because I got a text from my wife that said, hey, by the way, we're going to Dallas this weekend. I was like, kind of speaking on a call. She's like, you're going to kind of have to reschedule because I just already paid for the rooms. And I'm like, okay, cool. So anyways, I'm back. For those of you that missed me last month, I apologize. I'm actually not in my office with the legendary wooden wall behind me that you usually see. We're actually hanging out at my parents' tonight. So I just hopped in here to take the call. That's why you'll see a pretty little picture of my mommy and my daddy right behind me. Isn't that precious? I should just have that in the background for all of my calls. I have my mommy and my daddy behind me because I'm just so proud. But anyways, I want to talk to you guys tonight about something. It's some new content that I actually just created last week for a big Push to Diamond group that Raina and Amy Silverman and several other coaches that I don't remember were running. And I wanted to share it with you guys tonight because I love it. I love it. I know you guys, because you're on Becca's team, have been on a couple of my webinars, have maybe been in my trainings. And so I wanted to bring something fresh to you that I haven't already spoke on, that in case there's a couple of you that stalk my YouTube page, this won't be something you already heard or some other. It's like brand new. I've only spoke it once. And it's so important because here's what I found ever since I started working with Beachbody coaches is we have these things called push groups, right? We have push for emerald, push for diamond, push for this. And there's nothing wrong with those groups. I love them. I absolutely love them. But here's the problem that I found with most people's mindset and mentality. Remember, guys, 90% of what's wrong with your business is up here. It's up here. And if you can unlock and unclick this, the rest of it is obviously action. You can't unlock your mind and sit on your butt and expect results to happen. It does not. I don't care how much positive thinking you do. Good things don't happen to people who sit on their couch and do nothing. You have to actually do something. But it all starts up here, okay? And if I can fix the way you're thinking about things, I can change the way you're willing to act on things. And what I've found is that people have a mentality, sorry, I just got distracted because is that a K-State hat down there? Do I see it? Please tell me that's not a K-State. Oh no. Sorry, I grew up in Kansas and I'm a really big Jayhawk fan. It's okay. I'll forgive you. I'll forgive you and you can forgive me. How's that sound? We'll forgive each other. But most people have this concept and this idea that business is built with these random, sporadic pushes. And you get in a push group that's maybe 30 days long and you push and you push and you push. And most of you, to be honest, that I've witnessed, and I don't mean you individually, I just mean people in general, by week 3, they're done. By week 3, they have checked out and they can't handle it anymore. Their emotions start going crazy. Sometimes your personal life goes to crap because there is something that happens when you decide to push. There's almost like this barrier. There really is a barrier in here separating your subconscious and your conscious mind. I'm not going to go too much into all that. I'm going to try to keep it simple, okay? Or I'd have to do a whole other presentation. But basically, there is this barrier that's trying to protect where you're currently at. Okay, it's really a survival mentality. We all have a built-in survival mentality that's trying to keep us in a safe place. Now, the problem with this barrier is it doesn't think in logic. It thinks a lot more in emotions. And so when our emotions get rattled up and get stirred up, something in us says, get back to the safe place. And we start making up stories and excuses for why we need to get back to the safe place that really are just BS. They really are. They're 100% BS. But we tell ourselves these stories so that we'll feel better about going back to safety instead of pursuing what we really, really want. Anybody ever faced that before? Now, this is why I love working with Beachbody coaches, because all of you have already experienced this on your health journey. Every single one of you, when you started your health journey, you had a 3 or 4 week mental and emotional battle. Some of you are still fighting it. Usually, if you can push through for the first, usually, honestly, this is why I love the old days when we had the 90-day programs, because by the time you get through a 90-day program, dude, that wall is straight up busted. It is gone, especially when you were doing P90X and we had to do push-ups and pull-ups for a whole hour. I'm talking after 90 days of that, there's no barrier. I mean, you just bashed that thing, okay? But sometimes if you just do the 21-day fix and you just do it once, and then you take a month off, you never actually break through that barrier. And you find yourself on your health journey like a freaking roller coaster. And I'm just going to be straight up honest. This isn't in my notes, not what I'm talking about tonight. But if your health and fitness journey is a roller coaster, your business will 100% be a roller coaster. So you got to lock that crap down and break through that barrier like today. I mean, you can't break through it today, but I'm just saying you need to face the thing today and decide that you're going to break through it. And it may take 90 days, and it might. But guess what? You have the rest of your life to experience being broken through the barrier. Okay? That's the problem, guys. That's the problem. None of this is in my notes. I'm going into a whole new presentation. We're making up brand new content on the go just for you guys. Here's the thing. Too many of you are thinking about what it will cost right now instead of thinking about what it will reward 6 months from now. I was going through some personal stuff, and my buddy asked me a great question. He said, Josh, and honestly, I've used this on other people all the time, but sometimes you need someone else to coach you, right? And he said, Josh, what are you going to be more proud of 5 years from now? He's helping me try to navigate a very, 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 maybe the most important decision I've ever had to make in my life. He's saying, what are you going to be more proud of 5 years down the road? What is future Josh going to be proud of? And I want to ask you that same question tonight. You want to give up. I know you do, because you're human. Okay? If you are here tonight and you feel like you want to give up, I promise you, you are not alone. Every single person who has ever had success has had to be in that spot. I was in that spot for honestly, my entire first year, but it really took 6 months to kind of at least break through to where I was like, okay, I know I'm not making money and I suck, but I've gotten to the point where I've done it consistently for long enough. I'm starting to believe that maybe there's a light at the end of the tunnel. But I didn't do that by showing up 1 week at a time, 1 week and then take a week off and then 1 week. And then I did it by going all in and just making the decision. And I kid you not, guys, I'm a little bit of a religious person. I don't like the word religious, but that's how people understand it. So whatever. And I kid you not, I was dealing with so many emotions, so much confusion that I literally had to almost on a daily basis just pray to God and say, if I'm doing the wrong thing, I am so, so sorry, but I'm just trusting that you'll forgive me later, because I really feel like I just need to go through with this and just find out if maybe this is the right thing. That's how hard I was struggling, guys. I was literally praying to God for forgiveness because the emotions were so freaking strong. It felt like it was the wrong thing. And at the end of the day, It's just that I had never in my entire adult life taken the time to actually push through that barrier and get to the point where I found freedom and I got this clarity and I was able to move forward with just total confidence. It doesn't happen when you just go in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. And I know because I've done that in several other areas of my life with several other opportunities in my life. And I never got through that barrier. And when I joined the John Maxwell team, I finally decided, you know what? At the end of the day, if it's 2 or 3 or 4 or even 5 years of my life that ends up that I was wrong, I got the rest of my life to still figure out what's right. Sometimes we are so worried about the fact that we might be doing the wrong thing. We haven't taken the time to ask ourselves, what if this is the right thing? I mean, because if this is the right thing, my life is going to be forever changed. If it's the wrong thing, I'll still learn from it. And at the end of the day, what do I have? Like, what do you really have to lose? So I'm way off notes here, but just I can see from the look in your eyes, I'm going the right way. Okay, so I'm just going to roll with it. If we are 100% honest, and Mean Josh is about to come out just a little bit, but I'm feeling a softer side to Mean Josh, okay? We're going to drop some truth bombs, but I'm feeling a little bit more compassionate tonight, okay? Because I know this is kind of a touchy subject, you know, and I know some of you are like really struggling with this, okay? And I don't want to like kick you while you're down. I want to pick you up, okay? So here's what I want you to really think about this for a second. Because a lot of you deal with mom guilt. Okay. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of coaches. I know what you struggle with more than you do. I promise you that. A lot of you struggle with mom guilt. It's one of the stories you tell yourself to try to go running back to your comfort zone. Because if we think about it logically, let's just go down this road that I call logic. It's the place where emotions don't control us. It's the place where we just think about what's really, really happening. If you were not a Beachbody coach, you would not be giving your kid 100% of your attention the 16 hours a day that you're awake. You would just have 7 other Netflix shows that you would watch. Is there anyone on this call that can honestly say, Josh, I sleep 8 hours a night, and then I give my kids 16 hours of undivided attention? If that's you, raise your hand. I am going to send you a couple bottles of wine. I'm going to send you some chocolate. I'm going to send you a freaking gift card to like Olive Garden or something, because you need to like go spoil. I don't care how unhealthy that crap is. You need to go spoil yourself with something. I mean, I'm like, you need some help. None of you do that. If you are actually going all in on your business, it is not keeping you from your family. It just means you should be willing to sacrifice your extra privileges like Netflix or Snapchat or whatever it is that you would normally do to waste away your time and get a little bit of a mom break. Are you telling me? I'm so sorry. Are you telling me that your family's future is not more important than the next episode on Netflix? I mean, I'm just being real with you guys right now. This is what I put myself through. Okay. I'm not challenging you to anything I haven't asked myself. My first year in business, I said, Josh, at the end of the day, you don't spend all of your time when you get home from work with your kids. You usually spend an hour or 2 with your kids, and you can still 100% do that. You just can't watch all your favorite TV shows. Is that really that freaking big of it? Is that even a sacrifice? Now we try to play it up in our heads like, oh my gosh, I make so many sacrifices for Beachbody. I make so many sacrifices. I mean, like, because all of my friends are sitting around watching 30 episodes of, what is it? This Is Us. Is that the TV show you guys post about like all the time? Oh my freaking God. If I see another This Is Us post, I'm going to throw my MacBook through the freaking window. Now, here's the thing. I don't have anything wrong with me time, okay? I watch The Walking Dead. I freaking love it. I watch sports. I love sports. I don't have any time me time. But I do schedule my me time, and I schedule it to be after I'm done with work time because I'm a freaking adult. Yeah, I said it. I am an adult and I'm a business owner. I'm not a little freaking kid. Okay? So here's the thing. If you want to have a push life, I'm finally actually getting to some of the content for tonight's call. If you want to have a push life, you got to decide that your family is worth the sacrifice that it's going to take. And you got to stop telling yourself these stupid stories that you keep making up so that you can run back and whine and pretend that life is hard and life is difficult and life is challenging. Big freaking whoopee-doo. And I'm not trying to be insensitive to anybody, but I birthed a rock band while in the hospital with my son who was having his second open heart surgery. It was emotional, hard. It was emotionally crazy. But I'm sitting there in the hospital and I'm like, dude, your son's in the hospital, but he's asleep right now. Stop making stupid excuses. Well, I can't message people because I'm in the hospital and my son's going, dude, he's asleep. You're just going to watch a freaking movie or something. You weren't going to do anything productive. You're not actually over there holding his hand and praying over him right now. Now, you were earlier, but you're not doing that right now. So do something productive and quit being a little wuss. And I birthed a rock band right there in the hospital. I messaged everyone on the planet. This isn't the first time I've tried to build something, guys. I've done it before. Right there in the hospital, before I even had a band. It was just me, and I had some songs that I'd wrote, and I'd recorded one of them. Right there in the hospital, I booked my first paying gig. Living in Oklahoma at the time, my first paying gig in Indiana. And then I had to go make a band. I didn't have a choice because I'd already had a deal paying like $800 plus all of our expenses. And if you know anything about music, when your first gig pays $800, that's a really big deal because usually you pay $800 just to get there and play for 4 people. What I'm trying to say is whatever story you're telling yourself, it's a lie. It's a lie. Here's what the truth is. Can I give you the truth? The truth is every single one of you have a family or a future family that you love like nothing else in the world. I have a little girl who's she's almost 1 now. She's 11 months old now. What's today's? I don't even know what today's. I think she turns 11 months this week. I don't even know what date. Oh yeah, it's 4/20. That's right. My buddy told me about that earlier. So not me, I promise. Anyways. She's almost 11 months and I literally just look at her and I just melt. I just melt because she's the most amazing thing on the planet. And every single one of you either have someone like that in your life or you will. And you're letting your lies and your excuses hold you back from giving them the best life that they deserve. And I just decided if I can't sacrifice a few hours a day of really playtime and entertainment time that I would normally just do something goofy by myself, play video games or watch whatever on Netflix, if I can't do that, I don't love my family. I don't. And I can say I love my family and I can feel like I love my family, but if I'm not willing to give up a couple hours a day to give them the life they really, truly deserve, I do not love my family. And that's a really crazy reality to face, isn't it? Because you're over there telling yourself, I can't work my business because I love my family. Because I'm not willing to sacrifice my time with my kids. And you've created this illusion, and it's not logical at all. It's not. I mean, my good friend Micah Folsom, she hit number 11 in the country. This isn't, we're not talking NCAA sports here, bro. Number 11 in the company while she was pregnant. And yeah, she had 2 other kids crawling all over her. When I get on one-on-one calls with Micah Folsom, she pretty much always has at least 1 kid climbing on her all the time. And she's like trying to entertain them and trying to keep them going while having a conversation with me about how to grow her business, which, by the way, she just went double superstar recently, which basically means she gets a $150,000 bonus every 3 months with 3 kids climbing all over her. Why? Because she made the decision that her kids were worth that. That her kids were, and she's a great mom. She's a wonderful mom. She spends so much time with her kids. If you follow her on Facebook, you'll see them almost every weekend taking the kids on trips. They go out to the parents' farm and just like hang out and have family time. She's incredibly, incredibly great at being a mom and being a successful business person that inspires the world around her. If you want to create a push life, number one, going to actually get into my notes. You have to hit the reset button immediately. You have to hit the reset button immediately. How many people on this call have missed a goal before? Some of you are lying. Okay, cool. We've all missed goals before, correct? Here's the problem with most people is that when you miss a goal, you give up, you go crawl in a corner and hide for 3 months, and then you say, oh, maybe I'll get up and try again. If you want to be truly successful, you have to learn to get over failures like that. When I miss a goal, I take a day at most, usually not more than an hour, but sometimes if it's a really big failure, a day. And I soak on it and I let myself learn from it. And the very next day I hit the reset button and go at it again. If you want to be successful, you have to have this push mentality of every single day I show up with my best. John Wooden, who is known as one of probably the greatest sports coach of all time. He coached UCLA basketball in the 60s. They won 10 championships in 12 years. I don't think any other coach in NCAA basketball has won more than like 4 championships total. And he won 10 in 12 years. And he told John Maxwell this. He actually mentored John Maxwell. That's what a legit stud he was. He told John Maxwell, at practice, I would have kids, and I could tell they were tired, and I would tell they weren't giving it their all. And I would walk up to them, and I would say, here's the thing. I know what you're thinking. You stayed out late last night with your girlfriend or partying or whatever, and you think that you can slack today and make up for it tomorrow. But here's the problem. You only get 100% every day. So if you only give me 85% today, you can't give me 15% tomorrow to make up for it. You have 100% every day, and every day that you don't give it 100%, it's time, it's energy, it's money, it's whatever that's gone down the drain that you can never, ever get back. And that's why you have to hit the reset button like that. Because if you allow a week to go by, momentum gone. And then you got to rebuild momentum. You have to continually wake up every single day. Now, obviously, you can schedule days off. That's okay. It's allowed. You do have life by design as part of this business. It's okay to schedule off a day. Just make sure you're not scheduling it off at 9 o'clock when you wake up and decide you don't feel like working. That's not a scheduled day off. That's just, I don't feel like working. Okay? But you've got to show up every single day with the tenacity that you would if you were in some type of push environment, if you had like 1 week to knock out your goal. And that's why in the 1 week month, I'm so big about setting weekly goals. Weekly goals. Trying to hit Success Club 5 every month is not enough. It doesn't create any urgency, and it allows you to skid by till the 28th and then go, oh, I guess I need to hit Success Club. I challenge people to try to hit Success Club weekly. Weekly. Because if you say, I'm going to hit Success Club 5 this week, it forces an urgency. It forces a focus to go out and do the things that you need to do. And I guarantee you, everyone on this call is capable of hitting Success Club 5 every single week if you forced yourself to. And you wouldn't even have time. You wouldn't need any more time. You would just have to actually, for the first time in your life, focus with the time that you have and not spend 45 minutes playing on Snapchat, 35 minutes watching kitten videos, and 25 minutes talking about a freaking giraffe being born. Just say it. No offense. No offense to the giraffe lovers. It's a cool thing. It's a cool thing. But what I'm saying is most of us are afraid of setting goals because we think it takes more time. It doesn't take more time. It just actually forces you to actually use your time. So you got to immediately and decide every single week, I'm going to hit this goal. And guess what? Most of the time you're going to fail, and that's okay. Wake up on Monday and hit the reset button again. Because the only way you'll ever succeed is if you just fail enough to get there. I love to use the example. I feel like I'm like rocking out sports analogies tonight. I hope I have a couple sports fans on here tonight. But I love to use the analogy of Michael Jordan, one of the greatest champions who's ever lived. Won 6 championships in 8 years. The 2 years that he didn't win, he was playing baseball. Stupid thing that he wanted to try to do, but whatever. He did it. You can say he played baseball. Cool. Here's the thing, though. Michael Jordan, who is the greatest, in my opinion, champion of all time as an athlete, who even probably by the age of like 22 or 23 was considered the best player in the league. He was drafted in 83, didn't make the playoffs. Played in 84, didn't make the playoffs. Played in 85, finally made the playoffs, lost in the first round. Played in 86, lost in the playoffs again. 87, lost in the playoffs. 88, lost in the playoffs. 89, lost in the playoffs. 90, lost in the playoffs. 91, finally won his first ring. The greatest champion who ever lived was only able to get there because he was willing to endure the pain of so many failures that he finally got good enough to achieve the goal he had set for himself. You are no different. I don't care how many months you failed. I don't care how many years you failed. You have to keep going and you have to keep fighting because success is on the other side of your failures. But some of you are so afraid to fail that you won't even go. You won't even set the goal because you're like, Josh, I've set goals and I missed them. So what are you doing right now? What happens when you don't set goals? Have you ever not set a goal and hit it? Anybody? Because that's never happened for me. If you set goals, yes, you do miss them. But if you don't set goals, most of the time you just don't do anything at all. And I always say this. I've said this over and over. You guys have probably heard me say this if you've been in my groups. Goals were not meant to be reached. They were meant to stretch us. You got to get that in your head. Goals were not meant to be reached. They were just meant to stretch us. I make goals all the time that I don't actually hit, but because I set the goal out so far, it stretched me beyond what I would have normally done. And to me, that's a success if I do better than my normal. If I can force myself to going further than what my normal self would have done, to me, that's success. Okay? Number 2, never aim for a goal you've already hit. Never, ever, 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 ever set the same goal twice. If you have hit Success Club 5 before, that better never be your goal again. You hit Success Club 5, you better say, next month I'm going for 7. You hit 7, you better say, next month I'm going for 10. You hit 10, you better say, next month I'm going for 15. If you recruited 4 coaches in a month, you better never, ever, ever set another goal to just recruit 4 coaches in a month. You better go for 5 or 6 the next month. You see, some of you think that small, consistent actions equal great results because that's what the compound effect tells us. And you are right. But you know what? Large, consistent results equal way bigger results. If I invest $1 every single day for the rest of my life, I remember my math teacher telling us at the age of 16, something like if we would invest like $1 every day at the age of 16, something like by the age of 50, we would all be millionaires just because it has so long to compact, right? But how many of you want to wait till you're 50 to be a millionaire? I don't want to wait that long. John Maxwell was a millionaire at 30 and I'm kind of pissed that I didn't find that out until I was already 30 because now I can't even compete with him. So I need to find out when he became a billionaire if that ever happened because I'm going to beat him to $1 billion. If he hasn't made $1 billion, I'm definitely taking on that goal, okay? Here's the thing. Great things done daily also equal great results. They just make greater results. So I don't try to do just small things daily. Now, let me get this again. It's not about working 12 hours a day. It's about taking the time you do work and maximizing it. So why would you only send out 2 invites a day if you could send out 5 or 10 in a couple more minutes? Why would you limit yourself to 2? In fact, in my new Art of Recruiting group, it's mandatory 10 invites a day. 10 invites a day for every single person in the group, or they're not going to get their piece of the health bet pot back. That's a minimum. Too many people are setting the minimum so low because they heard the compound effect and go, oh, cool. I will just give 1 piece of rice a day so that I can have $1 million 60 years from now. How many of you need money now? Anybody? Does anybody need money now? Okay, a couple people? Okay, a couple people need money now. So let's not wait 60 years to go diamond. Let's not wait 60 years to go 2-star and 5-star and 10-star and superstar. Let's make some stuff happen now. Now, it is still about consistency, okay? So I don't want any of you to go, well, I'm just going to work 10 hours a day, because most of you can't maintain that. Now, some of you might if you don't have a job and maybe there's no kids around at all. I have worked with clients who were just single women, and they did work their business 12 hours a day. But most people can't do that. I sure as heck don't do that, okay? But what I want you to do is I want you to simply say, you know what? Whatever I have been doing, I'm going to step it up. I'm taking this thing to a new level, because if the actions I've been putting in have not been getting me the results I really want, I should probably put in bigger actions. I mean, that only makes logical sense, right? If I'm having 2 invites a day and I'm struggling to hit Success Club 5, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you guys, you're not going to have Life by Design hitting Success Club 5. You're just not. Now, can you make some extra money and change some lives? Yes. Yes, you can. And Success Club 5 should be your starting point when you're a new coach. But if you've been in this business for a year, it's time to go 10, 15, 20. And you're not going to do that on 2 invites a day. I wish you could. But that's like saying you can work out 10 minutes a day and have a 6-pack. Now, I know there's the 10-minute trainer from Tony Horton. I know there's that one program. How many people have done that one program? 2 people. It's because the 10-minute trainer, I've even heard the podcast with Tony Horton talking about it. The 10-minute trainer was not really designed to get optimum results. It was designed for people who had never really exercised or were really out of shape, and they were just intimidated by the idea of 30 or 45 minutes. And it was just a concept to just get people moving and doing something every day. It wasn't really designed to turn you into an athlete, right? Now, Insanity Max was. And that's some freaking hard crap for 30 minutes, isn't it? So I want you, if you're not getting the results that you want, stop setting the same stupid goals. Step up your monthly goals, step up your weekly goals, and step up your daily actions. Got it? And I'm going to give you all a homework assignment. Ooh, this is my favorite. Every single one of you is going to post in the page. Let's do a couple more giveaways, okay, Becca? For some reason, the people from last month's call, I don't know what happened. I thought I emailed it to my assistant, but I think we got you taken care of now. I saw that one of you had emailed my assistant. Okay, perfect. I didn't want you guys to think I missed on you. I swear I thought I had you taken care of. I promise if you ever have Josh go scatterbrain on you, email me through my website. My assistant is always on top of her game. I'm just kind of like a mess, just being honest, okay? So anyways, let's do a couple giveaways, 2 more. The Art of Recruiting launches. The launch group is going on, but the official first month is next month, okay? What you're going to do is Becca's going to create a thread in the page, and you're going to go in there, and you're going to tell me what you're currently doing. In other words, what you've been doing daily as far as your invites go, okay? And then I want to know what your new invite number is. I also want to know what your old Success Club kind of minimum was or average, and what your new average is going to be. Old invites compared to new, old Success Club compared to what you're going to start challenging yourself to do. Okay? And we're going to do a random drawing. It's not like, well, I'm going to say I'm going to do 100 invites, so just pick me. It's going to be a random drawing, okay? And 2 of you will win a free spot in the art of recruiting. And then you're going to have to do 10 invites. So you might as well just say at least 10. Otherwise, I'm going to bump it up anyways, right? Okay. Number 3. Remember, there's always more in the tank. Remember, there's always more in the tank. I can remember freshman basketball. They did this really mean thing. And they decided to hire the soccer coach as our conditioning coach for freshman basketball. Now, if you've ever watched the high school soccer team, they literally, I mean, the soccer field is like twice as long as the basketball court. So when they run wind sprints, they're literally running twice as far. And the soccer coach literally just brutalizes them because 90% of the game of soccer is just running. I mean, I know there are other talents and skills involved. I'm not making fun of soccer. I'm just saying the conditioning, soccer has got to be one of the hardest sports to condition for. And I can still remember having basketball practice, which is all up and down the court, all kinds of scrimmaging and drills. And after about an hour and a half, they'd say, okay, Coach Swearingen, they're all worse. And that's when the conditioning would happen at the very end of practice, when you're already tired, you already have cotton mouth, you're already like trying to spit stuff up, but there's nothing there. Anybody ever experienced that? And we'd go into wind sprints. We would run the bleachers. And I'm talking, this dude would just kill us for 30 minutes. And I kid you not, every single day, about 10 or 15 minutes in, I would start to feel like there was I'd be like, is he going to let us stop? Because I don't think I can actually move my legs. Like, they won't move. They won't. And we would kind of be like, how much time do we have left? He would never tell us. It's not like Insanity Max where you at least have like the countdown at the bottom corner. There was no countdown. You had no idea, which forced you to just keep focusing on the next sprint. You had no choice. Just hopefully this is the last one. I'm just going to run it. I'm just going to do one more. And then it kept being one more and one more and one more and one more. And it didn't matter how tired you got. And even though you felt like you were going to fall on your face, he would blow the whistle. And somehow, because you had to, you just did. And I was probably in the best shape of my life. I mean, I ran track in high school, and that season of basketball was probably the best shape of my life, man. It was crazy. And I found that in business, people do the same thing. And this is kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of the call with that whole barrier. We get to a certain point and we go, I can't do anymore. That's it. I'm just, and sometimes it's because something happens, someone sends you a mean message. You get an email that says, hey, Josh, your group wasn't worth anything and I want all my money back. It happens. It does. Sometimes the spouse is kind enough to remind you that with the amount of hours you put into your Beachbody business for what you get paid every Thursday, you're making about $2.22 an hour, and you'd be better off to go down to McDonald's and get a job. Sometimes stuff like that happens. I hope your spouse isn't that guy, but let's face it, it's reality sometimes. Okay? Sometimes you're just having a bad day and you don't want to invite people. You don't want to push and you don't want to show up. But I just want to remind you guys, I've been through personal issues, and let me just tell you this. When you have a business built around motivating other people the way I do, it's not fun to put a smile on your face when you just had a really crappy personal day and add value to people. And I've even been accused of a couple people close to me, I'm not going to say who they are because they're really close to me, calling me fake. And just straight up saying, dude, you are so fake because I see what's happening in your personal life and I see what's going on. And you hop on camera and tell everyone about have a positive mindset and be blah, 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 blah. You are so fake. I'm like, no, I'd be fake if I didn't show up on camera. I'd be fake if I didn't do the thing that I value more than anything, which is inspiring people. You are not fake when you show up with a smile, even though behind the scenes it's a total shit show. You're fake when, because of the shit show, you decide not to show up. Because when you decide not to show up, what it really means is that your emotions are more valuable than your values. I'll tell you my top 3 core values. Went through an exercise with my mentor to find these 3 values. And for me, it's faith, personal development, and helping others. So regardless of what happens in my life, if I'm not staying true to my faith, which I'll just be honest is probably the hardest one for me to stick to, if I'm not staying true to my personal development and I'm not staying true to helping others, that's when I'm being fake. So when I'm having a crappy thing going on in my personal life and I feel like all hell has broken loose and I feel like there is no hope for me, I choose to show up and be hope for you. Because that's what leaders do. Because even when I feel like there's nothing left in the tank, there's always something down there, guys. There's always something. And the world needs your story and the world needs your voice. And this is the way I look at it. I kid you not. Some of you, if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram, just going to let you in on a little secret. The days that you see the most motivating and inspiring posts from me are not the days that I was having my good day. Those were the days that I needed it. And I just tell myself, I do this every time. I say, Josh, if you're struggling this hard with all of the personal development that you do and all of the incredible mentors and people you have in your life and all of the money that you make and all of the amazing things that you have going for you, if you're struggling this hard today, I'd be willing to bet there's a million other people there that are struggling just as bad, if not worse. And you owe it to them to show up and inspire today. Stop thinking your life is any different than anyone else's. Now, do I sympathize with your pains? I do. I sympathize with you. Some of you are going through some hard stuff. Some of you may be going through divorces. Some of you are going through bankruptcy. Some of you are having houses and cars taken from you. I sympathize. But at the same time, I challenge you that in spite of those things, that you have a calling on your life. I believe that. I believe that people have a calling on their life. And what I mean by that, whatever you believe about God or the universe or whatever, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be limited to just my religious beliefs. We all have a mandate on our lives to change the world and to leave the world a better place than we found it. And that's with your family, and that's with your friends, and that's with the people who follow you on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat. That's with people you'll never meet. Man, I pray to God that there are millions of people that I'll probably never even get the privilege to meet that hear my voice and are inspired to go do something with their life. And I just keep showing up every single day for all those people because I don't want one of them to get missed. And sometimes honestly, people avoid the numbers and they avoid the masses because they're like, well, I just want to help the one. If I go after the masses, I may miss the one. The way I look at it is if I avoid the masses, I missed 1 times a million. Because when I'm trying to reach 1 million people, I don't think of it as a mass of 1 million people. I think of it as 1,000,001 individuals. That's why I loved hearing Carl. I actually was watching on my computer 2 years ago at Summit when there was a theme of every one matters. You can't believe that every one matters and not want to change every one. Because everyone matters, you better believe I got a duty to find every one I can and help them and inspire them. And even if I'm off, and even if I'm having a rough day, even if you're like, dude, I've been off on my health journey So what? Show up and inspire someone, and honestly, you'll probably feel a little bit better about your health journey. Say, Josh, I'm off my game. I mean, I haven't even been hitting Success Club. How am I supposed to recruit coaches? Who cares if you've been hitting Success Club? That doesn't mean that the person on the other end of the message no longer needs an opportunity to change their life just because you didn't hit Success Club. You're internalizing things and thinking too much about yourself and not enough about others. Man, I don't know where any of this came from tonight, Becca. Apparently I've had a rough day because I'm just got new stuff just flowing, man. I guess I just need to have content days when I have a rough day. Just sit down and just spew on people. So last little note, and it goes along with point number 3. It's not really a new point. It's just a little thing that I want to remind you with. When you don't think there's more left, remember your family. Remember their future. Remember what they deserve. Remember what you're really, 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 really working for, and just keep going. None of you are working for Emerald. None of you are working for Diamond. None of you are working for Elite. Work future that you believe in. And Emerald is the next step. Diamond is the next step. Elite is the next step. If you only focus on the rank, you'll find yourself really demotivated. But if you understand what's really, really, really at stake, you will find a way to get whatever rank is next so that you can keep pushing things forward and build the life you really, really want. Okay? I love you guys. Thank you so much for allowing me to be super crazy vulnerable tonight. Forgive me if I was a little emo girl. But I hope so much that tonight is what you needed to hear. I hope that it helped encourage you and remind you to keep fighting and to remember what you're fighting for. Okay? Becca, I've got maybe like 5 minutes for Q&A. I actually need to get my kids home to bed. I just looked up and was like, oh yeah, it's actually their bedtime 30 minutes ago. But I'll take like 5 minutes and answer some questions before I run them home. They can miss 5 minutes of sleep.
Okay. Let's see. Does anybody want to be brave and speak your question instead of typing it in the chat?
Be brave. Be brave.
Anybody? Josh, you are so good that they're speechless.
Let's hope that's what happened.
I do have a question.
Okay.
It goes back to the beginning of the call when you were talking about being in the hospital with your son.
Mm-hmm.
That hit me like a freight train because we're going to be going to the neurologist to talk about brain surgery for my daughter next week.
Yeah. And
I have just felt so frozen in like life. My fitness journey, my business, and it's so dark in here. I'm sure you can't see me.
No, it's okay. I can see you.
Okay. And I can recognize that I'm stuck. I can do better than this. I know that I can do more. I just haven't been. And in my past with everything, it's always just like, Beth, you just got to do it. You just have to stop making excuses. But that's not working this month, you know? And so maybe I just needed to hear it from you instead of myself. I don't know. But how do you just go?
The severity of the emotions when your kid is in trauma is just it's on a whole nother level, right? If we're sick, it sucks, but when our kid, it's
not okay.
It's a whole different ballgame, right? So here's what I need you to tap into is all of those emotions that you're feeling right now are telling you how much you care about that kid. Correct? Or you wouldn't even feel this. I mean, if you didn't care about him, just like whatever. But you obviously care about him. That's why you're so flooded with emotions. So if you care about him that much, why would you use his pain as an excuse to step away from the thing that's for his future? Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's going to be easy. I'm not. But I'm trying to give you ammunition to use on yourself.
I'll take it.
At the end of the day, that's what I do to myself. I really do. I just literally coach myself. Okay, dude, here's the thing. Yes, your son's in the hospital. Yes, it sucks. Yes, it's hard. But at the end of the day, are you going to use his tragedy as an excuse to not build the life that he deserves? I mean, that doesn't even make sense, right? He's going to get out of the hospital. I'm going to say, I'm so life, but I was just so stressed out by your surgeries that I couldn't handle it. Oh, cool. So what you're doing is putting off the responsibility of a better life on your kid's hospital, like on him almost. Like, I couldn't do it because of you. And now he's got to carry the guilt for the rest of his life that his mommy was never happy because his surgeries. And it should be the opposite. It should be, you know what? I saw you laying there, and I just knew more than ever before how valuable you were and how much I care about you and how much I wanted to give you the very best that possibly exists. And that doesn't mean that you work your business all day at the hospital. He's going to need some attention, and he's going to need your time and your energy, but it doesn't mean you can't take 1 hour and take turns with your husband to go out in the hallway and message some people and make a post and do something productive. And to be honest, when I was in the hospital, those step aside moments that I had actually kind of refueled me and made me a better dad for that sake. I would actually go back to, we had like a little apartment thing that we rented because we were going to be there for so long. And I would stay up all night with the kid because I'm a little better at nighttime than my wife is. And I would go back to the apartment to sleep for a couple hours. And before I would sleep, I would do a workout, which sounds crazy, dude. You're going on like 2 or 3 hours of sleep a night. It's not actually healthy to work out, but it wasn't really about like, am I going to get any gains or whatever? It was just getting my mind right and just getting that blood flowing. It honestly made me feel better and made it easier to be there for my kid because I just had some like energy going in me. And sometimes you get sucked in the hospital and just drains you of everything. I mean, the hospital sucks. No offense to those who work there, because I know you do an amazing thing and I'm so thankful for you, but it sucks to be there. It just drains the crap out of you. And getting away and doing something different that takes your mind off everything will actually be really healthy for you. You're going to feel bad about it, but you just have to remind yourself of this ammunition that I'm giving you, okay? And just say, if you have to, do what I did. God, forgive me if I'm doing wrong. I'm just going to go for it. And I've used that for some other stuff that where I knew I was doing what was right, but my emotions were so strong, it didn't feel like I was doing what was right. And at the end of the day, that's what successful people do, is they find a way to do what they know is right, even when it doesn't feel right. And that's hard, really freaking hard. But it's the only reason I'm here today, because that whole first year I had to deal with that every single day. So I hope that helps.
Yeah, it does. Thank you.
You're welcome. And my condolences. I'll pray that he comes out perfectly, that everything goes smooth, that everything goes awesome, and that you guys will be home so soon.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Does anybody else have a question we can close with? Everybody's crying now. We might not have any.
I know, we just had a big cry fest. Jeez, Josh. Way to go. You big jerk. Just making girls cry all the time.
Bully.
Such a jerk.
I have one that I think I know a couple people struggle with, and whether they're here on the recording, but they may be scared to ask. What would you say to a coach who they would say they're doing all of those things, that they're using their time effectively, they're taking max action, and they're not seeing a return, so they're getting frustrated?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is you need to track your daily activities just to make sure you're actually doing all of the things. Because the number one thing I've found with people that think they're doing all of the things is that they're doing some of the things every day, which makes it feel like they're doing all of the things, but they're really not actually doing all of the things. They're doing most of the things. And the thing about this business is it doesn't work if you do most of the things. It only works if you do all of the things. You really have to do all 4 vitals. You can't skip one. You can't skip. If you're skipping personal development, something's wrong with your mindset and things aren't coming out right. If you're skipping your workout, well, lots of stuff is wrong because you're trying to sell a product you don't use, which also screws up your mindset. If you're not doing your invites, well, you're just screwed because nobody even knows they're supposed to buy anything from you. And if you don't do any recognition, well, then you're not paying it forward. You have to do all 4, and you got to do all 4 every day. So if you're not getting results, what I need you to start doing is every single day, write down exactly what workout you did, exactly how much personal development you did, exactly how many invites you did and exactly what you did for recognition, and literally track those things every single day for 30 days and then say, is this how life was before, or have I noticed over the last 30 days I've actually been working a lot harder than I used to? Because people in my 1 week month, once they get into the tracker app, in the first week I hear people say, dude, I thought I was working hard, but I realized this week I've never done all of these things every single day like this. So that's step one. Step two is if you find that, dude, that I legit am tracking those things and I am legit doing everything every day, then there's a couple factors. One is time. Have you been doing it enough time? Now, if you've been doing all of those things consistently for 2 years and still haven't taken off at all, then we need to look at mindset. And we really, 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 really got to get you digging deep into some personal development and maybe having some one-on-one calls with Becca to see if you got some type of like just weird fear. Sometimes we just got some random weird fear where when we talk about it enough, we realize, honestly, we've been really afraid of rejection. And so even though we were inviting, it was kind of like this half invite, like selling ourselves short kind of an invite. Okay? It's almost always the mindset. But if you say, Josh, I've been doing all of the activities every single day, but only for like a month or two, or even 3 or 4 months, it's just not enough time yet. Okay? There is, I'm telling you, I know it sounds crazy, but there's this really magical place where you finally do it consistently long enough that you like break through the barrier and something just clicks. It literally just clicks. And I can't tell you how, I can't tell you why. The only analogy that I can give you is riding a bike. You ride a bike, you get on and you fall and you fall and you fall. And then one time you get on and it's just like the easiest thing you've ever done. And you're like, how could I have not done this before? Am I like stupid? And it's like once you finally evolve into doing it, looking back, I'm just like, what was your problem your first year, Josh? Why did you only sign 2 clients in your entire first year? Were you just an idiot? Because this is like so simple. But it wasn't simple to me then because it was a brand new thing that I was trying to do that takes time to kind of evolve into understanding and really making sense. So just please keep doing it. Please keep showing up. And I told myself this, even if it takes 5 years to replace my full-time income, I'll have the rest of my life to do the thing I love for a living. Some of you are struggling because it's been 5 months. I gave myself 5 years. That was the kind of mentality I had, was I'm going to show up every freaking day for at least 5 years. It ended up happening in a little less than 2 years. But giving myself 5 years made it a little easier at 9 months when I still wasn't making any money to just be like, it's okay. I'm nowhere near 5 years, right? Some of you are trying to get rich quick, and it does not exist. It just takes time. Okay? I hope that helped. I really need to get my kids home, get them to bed. If there's more questions, you can post them in the page and Becca can send them to me. I'll be happy to answer them.
Cool.
Sound good?
Yeah. I put the post up, everybody in the team page,
Beautiful.
Josh's challenge. So go up your ante on those things
Awesome.
you said. Thank you so much, Josh, for your time and for just riffing from your heart. That was cool.
You're welcome.
And I really appreciate it. So guys, go follow Josh, send him some thank yous. Go give him some love, some digital love for spending some
Because
time.
apparently he needs some today.
He needs a hug. All right. Thank you,
Good
guys.
night, everybody.
Have a good night. Thanks, Josh.